Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Culbertson, Senior Economist with the Indeed Hiring Lab, here with the labor market outlook for 2022, where I'd like to walk us through some of the major questions for the labor market in the year ahead. First, let's take a look back at 2021 as measured by job postings on the Indeed site. On this plot, as always, we are showing the overall trend in job postings on our site as the percent change from February 1st, 2020. If you focus on the year of 2021, you'll see that job postings on our site consistently grew throughout the year, except for a little bit of softness in the month of August during the rise of the Delta variant. As of our most recent reading on January 14th, we are 60.8% above our pre-pandemic baseline. On the far right side of this chart, you'll also notice a little bit of softness in the first 2 weeks of this year, most likely attributable to the Omicron variant, and certainly something that we will be keeping an eye on. Let's move on to the three major questions for the labor market in 2022. First, the temperature in the labor market soared in 2021 as demand for workers outran supply, but just how hot can the labor market remain in the new year? Let's first look at one key measure that shows just how tight the labor market is. This plot, featuring data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, shows the number of unemployed workers that are out there for every job opening. This figure is below 1, meaning that there are more job openings out there than there are unemployed workers to take those jobs. You can also notice that on the right side of the chart, compared to the far left side of the chart, this figure is well below its pre-pandemic level, which was also quite a strong labor market. This is the result of strong demand running up against labor supply constraints, such as concerns about the virus, childcare responsibilities, and pent-up savings. We could get some relief from these factors this year if we make progress against the pandemic and households spend down those savings, prompting some of those workers to come back to the labor market. The second question for the labor market in 2022 is how long will pandemic spending habits continue? This plot of personal income expenditures shows the disparity between goods and services spending, which is important to consider as spending patterns substantially influence labor market trends. Goods spending quickly rebounded from the pandemic as we all began to shop online, while service spending continued to lag and is about 1.3% below its February 2020 level. We saw this trend reflected in Indeed job postings data. Throughout 2021, goods-related sectors such as manufacturing and warehousing thrived, while service-related sectors like tourism and beauty and wellness continued to struggle. In the fight against COVID-19, if we make more headway in 2022, consumer demand could shift back towards services and fuel job posting growth in those sectors. The last question for the labor market in 2022 is how much further can remote work extend? It's very difficult to predict the long run, but it's somewhat safe to say that remote work will remain more prevalent after the pandemic compared to what it was before. But for now, we can rely on Indeed job posting and job search data to see how these trends have progressed. This plot shows the percentage of all searches on Indeed that contain keywords related to remote work. You can see that job seeker interest in remote work rose throughout the second half of 2021 and is near an all-time high. While on the employer side, this plot shows the percentage of job postings on Indeed that are for remote work. While this trend certainly has a bit less volatility, the trend line remains largely the same. And on the right side of the chart, you can see that job postings on Indeed featuring keywords related to remote work are near an all-time high. In summary, the short-term outlook for the labor market suggests that workers will continue to have considerable bargaining power in 2022. While more workers may enter the labor force if we make progress against the pandemic, demand for workers seems likely to remain strong this year. Even a slight slackening of the labor market would still keep job seekers in the driver's seat. That's all for now. As always, you can keep up with our research at hiringlab.org. Thank you for your time and your attention. And until next time, take care.